CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. The city is looking into parking concerns in a North Lethbridge neighborhood. A city man is seeking a designated handicap parking spot on the street outside of his townhouse to make it more convenient for his wife, who uses a wheelchair. But city officials say the apartment already has parking in the rear lane. Terry Vogt reports.
When I moved in here, I figured, like most other neighborhoods, it would be a good place to live.
Hector Roy moved to Lethbridge from Calgary. He says he likes the city and their neighborhood except for one thing, an ongoing parking dispute with a neighbor who lives a few doors down. The street is packed with townhouses and parking is at a premium here. Roy's wife, Alberta Rose, is wheelchair bound. He says when they lived in Calgary, they had a designated handicap parking spot out front.
Common courtesy would be leave us enough room so we can park in so that she can get her wheelchair down the ramp into the vehicle so we can go about our business and not bother anybody.
But the city says it can't close off parking and provide Roy with a designated spot in the front because he already has ample parking in the rear lane.
I've been told by infrastructure, since we have a back door, we could use the back door. However, it's fenced in and it doesn't make it very easy for my wife to get out. So I would like to use the front door because I believe you should be able to use either door.
But the front street is often jammed. There are times when Roy is forced to park a few doors down, and on one occasion when another resident complained, he was issued a ticket for parking too close to a driveway. Staff from Parking and Infrastructure Services are caught in the middle. They've asked police to overturn Roy's ticket because modifications to the neighbor's driveway don't comply with regulations. But they've also determined Roy's front door wheelchair ramp doesn't meet the building code either. City staff say there is funding available to help pay for wheelchair ramps and provide parking access. The city says it's done at least 3 installations in the past few months, but that may not be an option in this case. The Roys say because they're renters and not the homeowners, they may not qualify for that funding. Terry Vogt, CTV News, Lethbridge.
The city is in the process of reviewing all of the issues and concerns being raised by Roy and other residents on the street. To Dory Rossiter now. And Dory, starting Friday, we are going to see some very nice numbers and a good run of sunshine.
Absolutely. There's a low pressure center that's going to be tracking to the north of us in the next 48 hours, and that's going to push some warm air into southern Alberta as we head in towards the weekend. So that's the bonus from having a low pressure center to the north. To the north, people are going to get about 9 centimeters of snow from Red Deer to about Edmonton, but here maybe just a flurry or two, but I'll tell you all the details in just a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Dory. Well, members of the Blood Tribe are going to the polls today, voting on a new agreement that would give the band jurisdiction and governance of the Blood Reserve. The Blood Tribe, federal government, and Government of Alberta reached the agreement earlier this year, but it must be approved by band members. The agreement covers child, youth, and family services, as well as local government, such as elections, membership, and financial management of Blood Tribe lands. If the agreement is ratified, the Blood Tribe will be able to develop and implement its own laws according to band customs and traditions. Voting goes until 8 o'clock tonight. A band spokesperson says results aren't expected until either late tonight or early tomorrow morning. 4 exchange students from the University of Lethbridge are unharmed after a gunshot attack in Belgium yesterday. A man armed with grenades and an assault rifle attacked holiday shoppers at a central square in the Belgian city of Liège. 4 people were killed, more than 120 others injured. The attack ignited a stampede of hundreds as shoppers fled the explosions and bullets. 4 women from the University of Lethbridge are studying at Université de Liège during a semester-long exchange program. The University of Lethbridge received word through email that all 4 students were safe. The 2 universities have been partners in the international exchange program for 10 years. A Cranbrook man has pleaded guilty to a robbery at Sword Point. It happened last December at Cranbrook's Alamo Motel. A pair of men inquired about a room, but when the clerk unlocked the door, one man came into the office and pulled out a sword. 25-year-old Henry Harder will spend almost 4 years in jail for charges of robbery, assault, and breach of probation. Search and rescue teams in Sparwood are being recognized for their integral role in the search for a 3-year-old toddler. In September, 3-year-old Keenan Hebert was snatched from his Sparwood home in the middle of the night. He mysteriously reappeared 4 days later. 46-year-old Randall Hopley was the focus of a massive manhunt in Keenan's disappearance. Hopley was eventually arrested west of Crow's Nest Pass, thanks to the help of dozens of search and rescue volunteer teams. They will be honored at a ceremony tomorrow, 1 p.m. at the Sparwood Fire Hall. Hopley faces kidnapping, abduction, and break-and-enter charges. He appears in court later this month. And 2 Taber men are facing charges after a local bar was broken into and thousands of dollars stolen. Police say last Friday, someone broke into the tavern through a window, and they vandalized a safe and made off with a significant amount of cash. 26-year-old Lee Haynes and 19-year-old Tyler Ikabuchi both face charges, and police tell us they're looking for a third suspect. Well, it's hard not going into debt at this time of year, but Statistics Canada warns that our personal debts are now at record levels. Stats Can says household debt as a portion of annual disposable income has reached a record 152.98% in the third quarter. That's up about 2.5 percentage points from second quarter. The agency says personal debt, which includes credit card balances and mortgages, rose without any corresponding increases in our income. Debt counseling agencies like Money Mentors say they've seen a record number of people signing onto their debt management programs, and they're expecting even more people to contact them come the new year.
What will more than likely happen, and does tend to happen every year, is after Christmas, we will also see a huge rise in the phone calls and hits to our website.
Stats Canada also says the net worth of Canadians dropped to its lowest level since the stock market plunged in 2008. And every year there is a must-have toy. Cabbage Patch dolls tickle me Elmo. Now this. The Leap Pad Explorer by Leapfrog is sold out, at least online. It's not available on the U.S. Toys R Us site or Walmart, Kmart, or Target. A retail analyst says parents should check in with area stores about new shipments and get there early as it arrives. A check on Amazon.com shows several sellers who stocked up and plan to sell it for nearly double the original value. We checked out both Walmart and Toys R Us in Canada. Very few are there to be found. Most sold out online here as well. Only a few stores across the country have them, and they are in limited supply. Now we know what the hot toys are now. We wanted to find out what they were a few years ago, so we headed over to the View at Lethbridge Retirement Centre. Here's what a few of the residents told us.
Oh, it was always dolls and storybooks, and you know, when you got to read, I love reading, and all the other things that you could get in wartime, because it was wartime when I was a kid.
No, I had one. That was my one and only doll. I think they were $5.95. That was it. I was brought up in the hard days.
Well, I asked for the Eaton's doll. It had a china face and was all dressed. It was about that high.
The lady over there had one.
Yes, I had one too. Santa gave me one.
Get comics every once in a while, and they had paper dolls. And I was just telling him that we played a lot of paper dolls. We did a lot of puzzles.
A wind-up train. Wound it up, and we watched it go around and around on a circle track.
A Betsy Wetsy doll.
Now, a Lethbridge Middle School needs your votes. GS Lakey is in the running for an Aviva Community Fund grant, and it's worth up to $100,000. Lakey wants to use the money to fund a convertible theater and summer arts institute. The school thinks they'll need between 1,500 and 2,000 votes per day to finish in first place and take home the money. If they win, they'll build a technical booth on top of the school's dance studio, which can then be used as a theater, concert hall, and performance area, as well as meeting room. School officials say they are overwhelmed by the support from the community.
Social media, what an impact that has had. I mean, and I'm not that old, but I feel old because I'm amazed at how that has really brought the community together. It's brought our school community together, but we've got messages of support from all over southern Alberta and people that are voting for this because they feel that it is something that impacts them as a southern Albertan, and that's kind of neat.
The total cost of the project would be $150,000. The school's already done some fundraising, but says the grant would help push them closer to their goal. You can vote for GS Lakey Daily. We've got a link on our Facebook page, facebook.com/CTV Lethbridge. To the markets now, where again, we saw some down arrows with our dollar. Here are the closing numbers.